but there we go. All right. Welcome everyone to our first Zoom. It's awesome to have you guys here. And today, I don't think we'll be very busy, or it won't be a very long Zoom session. It's just to answer a few questions about what's happening and what's the decisions behind the processes that we've been following so far, and to get everything going. I've got Morgan and Michael on here as well. You guys can just give a wave. Here we go, Eminem. And then if you guys have any questions, please post them in the chats, and then they'll answer them as we go along. And then you guys are more than welcome to use the emojis, so if you want to say something, you can raise your hand or laugh at me or whatever it is that you want to do. I don't take anything personally, so you guys can say whatever you want. I'm happy with any criticism as well. All right, so the first thing, I'm going to explain a little bit what's going on, and then we'll take questions from there. Is everyone okay with that? All right, Sarah, do you want to say anything before we start?
No, Fran, I'm leaving this one up to you.
Okay, all right. We do have Sarah Faye and Shona on here as well, who represents you guys at SAPRO. And okay, so the first thing that we've done, because you guys work on so many different timelines and all across South Africa and things like that, is we decided to do it a little bit differently. Instead of only communicating on email, we decided to throw Telegram in the mix. And I know if you guys are anything like me, another WhatsApp group, if I get it, my heart sinks into my knees. But the nice thing about Telegram is you can send silent messages. It doesn't download any content onto your phone unless you do it specifically. You can have polls, you can share links. So it's very easy to get people onto a group without having their phone number and things like that. And it's a little bit more live, so you guys that are hard workers, it's a nice thing because you can respond and chat at a time that's convenient for you, instead of just replying on emails when you're in front of your laptop and those kind of things. The thing with Sammy is we created Sammy as a chatbot, and she's not an AI chatbot, so she's got very specific answers. But the way that we've created her was in a sense where, 100 people can talk to her, and she can respond answering some of the most common questions, with a brochure and a video and a link and things like that. And I've been rambling. My name is Fruan, and I am the financial advisor at Key Wealth. And we have partnered with SAPRO to assist you guys with this navigating the medical health industry, because of all the jargon and the complications and everything that's linked to it, and how complicated it can be sometimes. Anyway, all right, so Sammy essentially is a way that we gather a lot of information so that we can quickly assist you. And it's by answering quick questions that we need, for the demographics of the group, to assist you guys with, with deciding on the correct options and things like that. So just quickly, those of you who have engaged with Sammy, how was your experience with it? Difficult? Stupid? Was it nice? Is it something we can continue using and build a little on it?
I have a question.
Yes.
I haven't spoken to her or him or it yet. So I'm new to Telegram. So do apologize for that. Where do I find him, her, or you? So is it like WhatsApp where you need to send me your number and then I add you, or is it like Mix It where you have another type of thing going, like BBM? So because I saw there's links in the emails that says Telegram, and when I go there, I go to the App Store.
Yes.
So yeah, so how does that work?
Okay, all right, Bribert, thank you. That's a brilliant question. So on the emails we sent out, the links will take you to the App Store to download Telegram for those who do not have it. But at the bottom, there's a small, like where you get all of those Facebook and Twitter and YouTube icons, there's a small little Telegram logo, like a arrowhead type of thing. And if you click on there, it takes you directly to the group that we've created for all of the SAPRO employees. And it's not I think I'm the person that posts the most. It's not a very chatty group to keep you out of your work and things like that. It's just, quick questions. How does this work? Where does this go? Do I have to complete this part of the form? It's just to get quicker information going so that we can speed up the process with everything. If you do not have Telegram or the link to the group, the nice thing about Telegram is we can send out links, so we post the link for Sammy on the group. So once you're on the group, you can easily go to Sammy from there, and then we can easily just email you the link for the group. And if you click on it, it opens the group and you're in. Easy enough. Good. All right. Anyone else that wants to say something about Sammy? Happiness? Yes, Catherine.
So I think I had a good time, like just navigating with Sammy, just sort of selecting all of the options every time an option came up. It is a lot of information though. I do like get that. So I did need a bit of help. So I did like get into contact with Michael, but it was a lot of information, but it was helpful information.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, well, the nice thing is the way we did it is that it's these clickable menus, so if you do want to change your mind, if you scroll up, you can just click on a different button and the new feed will come out, the new flow. So it is a lot. We did try to simplify it a little bit. We made some videos here and there, but I'm glad if the take up was positive. All right. So the first thing is that it's, like Catherine said, now it's a lot of information that we've got to get over to you guys. Medical aids are the third most expensive expense in a household. So it's not a cheap benefit to have. It's ranked third only after a house or your rent, a car, and then it's medical aids. So it's a pricey thing. And when we engage with anyone who's on medical aids, generally, if people are unhappy, it's because they do not understand what they have. So the biggest thing around this whole process is to truly understand what you've got, all right, so that you can utilize the benefits to its maximum and so that you can really, benefit the most out of this. Medical schemes, the largest portion of whatever it is that you pay goes towards your hospital contribution. And, that's if you get pregnant or you're in a car crash or, something more severe like cancer. Those bills are easily 2, 3, 4, 500,000 rand. You can never pay back that money. I'm saying never, but, it's not an easy thing to do. So that's the biggest portion of it. The day-to-day parts, like doctors and GPs and medicine and things like that, that's a very small component of what you buy with a medical aid, just so that you guys know a little bit about that. But what we'll do on our side, we sent out the list of meetings that we'll have, and we'll have a session like this where if you want to know more about discovery, join the discovery session. You guys don't have to join all of the sessions. We'll also record all of them, post them on YouTube, and then send the link to them on the Telegram group so that you guys can have a look at it. I would appreciate it if you guys attend as much as possible. Otherwise, I'll be speaking to myself. But you just attend the sessions that you want to know. If you've got questions regarding discovery, join the discovery Q&A. If you want more information on the gap cover, join the session about the gap cover. If you want to know how Vitality works, join the Vitality Zoom. And during those Zooms, we'll do little presentations and discussions regarding how the benefits work and the different options and things like that, so that you can make more informed decisions on what's good for you and what would work for you. All right, so that's the first thing. There's no rush with anything. It's very important to make a good decision with this because it's an expensive benefit, and then to take the right option. Okay, so we do guide you guys a lot, and those of you that are in a hurry or want to get on it quicker, you're welcome to send us a Telegram message or an email, and we'll answer you as soon as we can. All right, and then the next thing is that you guys will be receiving 1,500 Rand subsidy from SAPRO. This benefit will be available to those who form part of the medical scheme group. So it is important that as far as it is possible, the medical scheme should be administered, or the processes should be handled by our team. And the reason for that is just that you guys can imagine from a administrative point of view, if 150 odd people are all over the place in terms of dependents and schemes, and this one's got medical insurance and this one's got something else, it's a very difficult process to manage in terms of payroll and HR and things like that. So we are trying to simplify it where SAPRO employees talks to one office, and our office will assist you with a discovery or the best made or the gap cover or the vitality. And whether it's the employee who speaks to us or whether it's HR wants to know, if someone has been added or things like that, it's easier, streamlined communication. Okay, so it's very important that if you have a medical scheme, if you belong to a medical scheme, get in contact with us so that we can do a comparative quotation for you and see where we can fit you best between Discovery and Best Made. Those two are excellent schemes. They differ from very inclusive options to very affordable options. So that's the reason why we chose those two specifically. There are many other schemes which is also good, but those two work really, really well together. And so that's the most important thing. And then SAPRO will pay the medical scheme contributions on your behalf. So if it's you and a spouse and it's 3,000 Rand, they will pay it. The 1,500 Rand subsidy would be added on your pay slips, but the medical aid contribution will be deducted. Okay, so you'll basically pay the difference. You guys are allowed to put dependents on, a spouse, a child, adult dependent who's financially dependent on you. In that scenario, financial dependence for adults is a little bit more difficult. So if you've got a parent who you want to add on a medical aid, they have to be registered with SASSA. So basically they need an income. If they've got an income which is less than 2,000 Rand or something like that, then you can put them on your medical aid. Otherwise they have to get their own. And that's kind of the gist of it, how it's going to work. All right. The rollout process with this between Telegram and Zooms and Sammy is very new to our office as well. So if you guys run into a wall somewhere or a link is broken or it's confusing, please shout out and reach out to us to say, listen, this is not working. How can we better this? Because your feedback is really appreciated. And this is also a very new benefit for you guys, so we really want to empower you with information, and we want to make sure that you guys know exactly what it is that you're paying for and buying. And that's it. With that, I'd like to open the floor for questions. Anyone that has had any trouble or that's struggling with something, or if someone wants to know anything, the floor is yours. How can we help you guys today?
I guess I'll talk again. So up to end of last year, I was on a KMF medical aid because the firm I was with had that as a requirement. And then at the start of this year, I had to move over because KMF only allows you if the whole firm is there. So then I had to go over to Discovery, and doing the research there, it turned out that if I'm the principal member, the fees were about 300 or 400 Rand more. Whereas if I were to join as a secondary or a dependent on another person's medical aid, it came out somewhat cheaper. So given that, I then joined my parents' medical aid again, just to save that 300 Rand. From what you've described now, I assume that won't be an option anymore. So I would have to have my own scheme. It's not that you pay or my contribution is paid into their policy. I would have to move over to my own policy.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Look, you can also run into trouble. So dependents on medical aids, they're much more lenient than with a lot of other things. But as soon as you start earning a salary and you're not a full-time student anymore, you're not really allowed to be on a parent's medical aid. So it happens a lot. And there's a lot of medical schemes that allow it up to certain ages, up to about 26, where they can still pay child dependent rates and things like that. But what a person do not want, you'll probably never run into an issue. But what you don't want is that something happens and they kick you off of a medical aid. So it's better if you join your own. If you started working, it's always better if you're on your own medical aid going forward. And that will then also, it's a little bit cheaper if you're a dependent somewhere, but you will also be gaining access to the subsidy, so that would be good on your side.
I agree. That's good. Thanks.
You're welcome. I like it, Prival. You must be on every Zoom. All right. I just want to see, here's a message quickly. Okay, so we have a question where, is it necessary to terminate your medical aid and move over to Discovery or BestMed? So the biggest thing at the moment is that if, as far as it is possible, it's better if we work everything through the corporate deduction and the payment from SAPRO. So if SAPRO pays your medical aid, we create a corporate group for SAPRO with Discovery and BestMed. So when it comes to medical schemes, if you're an employer group, they pay one debit order for all of the employees. And as soon as we do that, we gain access to favorable underwriting. So that means that we're still waiting on it in writing. Okay, so don't take what I'm saying now to the bank, but that's what generally happens. If you get favorable underwriting, most of you will probably own a car, if I can explain it like that. You know, if you don't have insurance on your car and you're in an accident and you write it off, can you quickly phone Santam and say, hey, I just wrote off my car, will you guys insure me and replace it? You know, that it doesn't work like that. Now, medical aids, what they do is they will impose a 12-month condition-specific waiting period. In other words, if you're pregnant or you've got high blood pressure or whatever the case may be, they won't cover that condition for 12 months if you join a new medical aid and you weren't on one previously. Where if it's part of an employer group, they sometimes accept you with everything without any conditions. So even if you're pregnant, you can come onto a scheme, have your baby, they'll pay for everything, and that's that. You know, so it's kind of like writing off a car and then joining insurance and getting it replaced. You know, so that's what we do with SAPRO. And that's also very good for SAPRO as a firm, because any new employees will sometimes also get that benefit of joining it. You know, like I say, we're still waiting for it in writing from the schemes. But what happens is that once we've got that group set up, it's very good for the company as well as the employees. So there are scenarios where, you know, you might have a spouse who's working for the government and they're on GEMS, which is already subsidized. You know, and in those scenarios, we can look at it individually and we can have a discussion whether it's better to stay on the one or on GEMS, for example, or move over to Discovery and things like that. But as far as it goes, it's better if we have everyone on BestMed or Discovery. And it would definitely make Shona and Sarah Faye's lives a lot easier if we've got everyone with the same scheme. So what I would suggest is if we can do comparisons for those people who are on different schemes and see where we can fit you in with BestMed and Discovery. And if we cannot do that, you know, let's review it at that stage on an individual basis. The idea behind this is not to get anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. It's to give you guys a good benefit with a good subsidy so that everybody can have access to more affordable healthcare. You know, that's the big thing, because medical aids are very expensive, especially when you're young. You guys are an incredibly young group. And, you know, when you're young and you're paying so much for a medical aid while you're feeling strong and indestructible, it's even worse, I want to say, you know, so it's a difficult expense for youngsters to have. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. If I did not, you're welcome to type it again or add on it, or unmute yourself and have a chat. And then another question. Yes, if your parents aren't financially dependent on you, then it's very difficult to add them onto medical schemes. There are schemes in South Africa who are a bit more lenient with it, like GEMS, for example. You know, they accept extended families and things like that a lot easier than private medical schemes like BestMed and Discovery. We can always try to put them on, but the tick boxes for adult dependents who are financially dependent on you is usually they must get a very low income, you know, like SASSA or less, registered for SASSA, and preferably live with you. You know, if you've got those, then it's fairly easy to put them on. And it's the same thing with children. If it's not your child, they have to be, you need the court order or adoption papers or things like that to say, listen, I'm responsible for my brother or my sister, or, you know, my sister's child, or however. I hope that answered your question. You're welcome to elaborate a little bit. Sorry, guys, I'm going through these questions as we go. Okay, I've got a question here. I've been with Discovery on my first year. I have the lowest option because that is what I can afford. Now, when you evaluate my option, okay. So the great thing with Discovery is that, I don't know if you guys heard, but last year there was a lockdown in South Africa, and a lot of people had to stay home because of it, or most people. And because of that, no one went into hospital, or at least not for your general operations and car crashes and things like that. So medical schemes had very low contribution increases. So you guys can budget on medical scheme increases on more or less 10% a year. Last year, the average increase was probably about 5%, with Discovery not giving any increases. But what they did is they postponed the increases to the 1st of July for 2021. And because the premiums are going up in July, they allowed a once-off concession where you can do option changes. So in a scenario where you are specifically that key care option, those of you who know it, if you earn more than, I think it's 13,000 Rand a month, then you pay almost double the price than someone that earns less. So if you're one of those, you know, and you're going to increase your contribution a lot because of your salary, they do allow option changes, but only up to the 15th of June and only for the 1st of July. So if you are on Discovery and you want to check out your options to make sure you're on the best plan, please get into contact with myself, with Michael. Send an email or a message to Sammy or on the group so that we can compare it for you and make sure you're on the best plan possible. Okay, does that, yes, I believe that should answer it. Okay, I'm already on Discovery in my private capacity. Okay, so if you're already on Discovery, there's just a 2-page form that you will have to complete. It's just your personal details. You can send it back to us, and then we'll make sure that HR and finance signs it, and that's it. It's a transfer. Nothing changes, not your membership number, no vitality details, nothing. It will be as it was. You just won't pay for it. SAPRO will, and then they'll deduct the difference from your salary. So you can just continue with what you had. It's just a form. If you don't have the form, Sammy is very clever. If you go onto Telegram, she'll ask you on what medical aid you are. If you say Discovery, she'll give you the form. Okay. If you don't want to go that route, you can just ask us on email or in the Telegram group, and we can leave it for you there. All right. Will you let us know at the end how we can set up that? Yes. So the only thing you have to do is you can either on Sammy or on the Telegram group or on email, just reach out to us. You can give us a couple of details like who's on your medical aid, what option you're on, what medical aid you're on, and what's important to you. A very good thing for us to give you guys guidance is if you can tell us your budget. So there's a lot of different options out there. And if you don't know what someone's budget is for medical aid, it's kind of like walking into a car dealership and saying, I want a car, you know, and then you respond saying to the salesperson, show me everything, you know, I mean, you'll be there for the weekend. And it's the same with us, you know, so we don't have any influence on the prices of medical aids. So if you tell us, I don't want to pay anything over and above the subsidy I get from SAPRO, we'll say this is the option that you've got to take. If you say I can afford up to 1,000 Rand extra, we'll say here's your options for 1,000 Rand and below, and for an extra 200 Rand, it's so much better, and you can get this as an example. So we always work with your budget. So if you can say who's on the scheme, what it is, what option it is, and what your budget is, and then also it helps us a lot if you say what your expectations are for medical aid. All right. So most medical schemes don't pay dentistry very well, as an example. So if dentistry is important to you, it's important that you tell us so that we can tell you exactly how it works, or optical benefits or things like that. It doesn't help you need to get a crown or your wisdom teeth removed, and we put you on an option that doesn't pay for it. So your expectations are also very important. And then once we have that information, we'll respond with a comparative quote, and we'll include the subsidy in the quote so that you guys know exactly what your contribution would be. Okay. Does that help? Happy? All right. I see there has been a couple of answers to the questions. Anything else? Shona, Sarah, anything I missed that we need to discuss still?
Not from my side. I think from Shona's side, what if there's anything that's more important from the financial aspect of it. So I'm not sure if there's anything she needs to add.
I think you covered it, how it would work with regards to the payroll, the pay slip part. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions about that.
The floor is yours. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Anybody? All right. While someone wants to unmute themselves to ask a question, is there someone? DC.
I'll ask another quick question.
Yes.
It's Kirsten in. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I didn't catch your name though.
Okay, cool. Kirsten.
Hi.
I know my name on Zoom's different. I just want to know, so my benefit with SAPRO starts on the 1st of July. Can I still join Discovery now in my personal capacity and then sign those forms, say, at the end of June?
Kirsten,
Does that make sense?
An excellent question. You know what, so nothing prevents you from joining in your personal capacity. The difference would just be the terms of underwriting. So depending on your age and your health at the moment, you might get underwriting as an individual, which you might not get as a corporate employee. But I mean, the paperwork and stuff is very, very easy. So I'm sure we can accommodate you with that. You can just reach out to us. We'll do it for you. In your private capacity, you always pay up front. So you'll pay 1st of June as an example for the month of June, where in corporate capacity, you always pay in arrears with the month that you work. So you'll also have a little bit of a payment break there for 1 month. You'll have cover, which you only pay at the end of the month. So, but it should be possible. On that note, sorry, do you want to add anything else?
Oh, no. I was just saying, okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah,
I can still do everything through you
yes.
at this stage.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely help you. You can just reach out and we'll give you all the prices and the quotes and discuss the best options. So you guys are a lot of people. And that being said, you know, we do try and give everybody the attention like you're our only client. But where you want more information, just tell us, listen, you didn't answer a question. I need more information on this to make a decision, and we'll get back to you on that. You know, so we do try and respond very quickly, but a lot of the times that means, you know, we condense information a little bit more. So because you guys are very young as well, you know, this is now just an assumption, but I'm sure for many of you, this might be your first medical aid. All right. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to know. Things like you'll see medical schemes, they say that they cover 100% of your in-hospital benefit. Yes, Jen, now. They cover 100% of your in-hospital benefit. That doesn't mean they cover the full bill. It's like, I always try and explain it, it's almost like accounting where you've got a base cost and then inflation that comes in, you know, and something can be less or more. You know, I think you guys might understand that quite well. Hi, Jane. Good morning. Nice to have you on this call.
Sorry, I wasn't going to come, and then I thought I'm just going to come lurk in the background, but then I'm not so background now.
It's okay. Anyway, so, you know, so there's a lot of things like that where what's the difference between 100% cover and 200%? And our gap covers say they pay 500%, you know, so if you guys have questions like that, you'll see we talk a lot about PMBs. You know, PMB is a prescribed minimum benefit. It's a minimum of cover that you're allowed to get by law, that you should get by law because you're a paying member of a medical scheme. So if you want to know, you know, what's a PMB and what are waiting periods and exclusions and co-payments and things like that, just ask the questions. All right, we'll answer you as good as we can, as well as we can. I'm not sure. Anyway, and then building on what Kirsten asked, we'll try and roll out this benefit, over a 2 or 3 month period, so that there's enough time for everyone to join, and especially those who are on medical schemes that might have to cancel and reapply, and you've got to give 30 days notice and things like that. So although it's important, especially during a pandemic, to have medical scheme cover, don't be scared that if it's not done by Monday, you'll lose out. I think that's a good thing, but also, maybe not sit on the bench until 90 days has passed. We do want to sort out everything and everyone as soon as possible. All right. I don't know if I saw any other questions coming in. It doesn't look like it. Anyone else that wants to ask a question or make a statement or say anything? Jen, anything from your side before we log off?
No, just that if anyone has any questions, then they can reach out to me, Sarah and Angela, or preferably you guys directly, because
yes,
I think that's been working really well. But if they want, they can reach out to us. I can't answer most of them though, so I do prefer that they let you guys know, because you guys have been great.
Thank you very much. You guys have been awesome as well. We enjoyed working with you. And that's really something that I would say, we've had a lot of discussions in the background. So I think a lot of the questions, like Jen mentioned, we can answer, but where we don't have an answer, we'll obviously, have a discussion with Sarah, Faye, and Shona and Jen. So you guys can direct a lot of stuff to us, and then just to take some of the workload off of them as well. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It was wonderful to see all of you. Those who were brave enough to put on your cameras, I like it. And we'll have a couple more like these. Like I say, I would appreciate your attendance, but if you're not interested in, BestMed or Discovery, you don't have to attend that Zoom. We will record all of it. We will put it on YouTube. I will post it on the group and Telegram. And if you've got any questions, please reach out. You guys must have an awesome day. And thank you for all of your contributions and cooperation with Sammy. It's been great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.